Hi, my name is Ray DeGroat, and I am the Public Relations Coordinator here at Navajo Agricultural Products Industry. And I've been here coming up in September 10 years. So it's been a fun and fast 10 years that I've ever worked for a company. So I grew up in Lake Valley, New Mexico, which is about 55 miles south of Farmington, New Mexico. It's on the reservation. Both my parents were teachers at the school, and it was a very tiny school. I would say from kindergarten through 8th grade, there were about 100 students, and we pretty much grew up like a family. A lot of us were related by clan or by blood, but we were pretty much a big family that just kind of went to school in the same place. And it was very dry out there, not a lot of trees or grass, and pretty much a desert. And anytime we had PE or any type of activity outside, we would just go to like the sand drifts or just run around chasing lizards. I had a teacher in 8th grade who kind of had this little choir group, and we would actually learn how to do Navajo songs and the traditional dancing at the local Navajo song and dances. And she would take us to all these different events, and it was really fun. She was able to coordinate different events to places like Phoenix, or Hartford, Connecticut was another place. But we would travel for about a week and kind of share our culture with other schools in those areas. So that was pretty fun and exciting. It was something that we always looked forward to. And we would spend like majority of the school year raising money. At the end of the year, we would be able to travel to these locations and be able to share our culture and what we do as the Navajo people. So in high school, I attended two different high schools. There was Navajo Preparatory School and Farmington High. And at Navajo Prep, I remember just being exposed to different subjects. One that I really did not care for was history. I just it had no interest to me. And I had to kind of sit down with the instructor and let them know, why do we have to learn about people that are no longer here? And I remember them telling me, well, we learn from our past, and that's pretty much what history is. We get to look back and see how we could have done something differently, or anything that happens, we could, do things a lot better. So once I saw it from that perspective, it kind of just stuck with me. So anytime that I kind of look in my past and I'm kind of crossing that same scenario, I'll think of what happened before and try to make a better decision for tomorrow. And as for Farmington High, so prior to, from Lake Valley to Navajo Prep, I've always spent time, or a lot of my school time, with Navajo kids. And I was not accustomed to other cultures or other races until I showed up at Farmington High. And when I did enter Farmington High, it was a whole new atmosphere for myself. And it was hard for me, just because it just was really different. And then once I moved away to Phoenix and was exposed to a lot more other races, I realized that there are a lot of people that you can learn from, their cultures, their backgrounds. And I was able to, develop different types of friendships with these other cultures, people of other ethnicity, and that has stuck with me to this day. So anytime I meet somebody, whether they're full of tattoos on their faces or on their arms, to somebody who's in a business suit, we all have our own stories and we all have our own lifestyle. But to me, it's just another person that is living life day to day, and we can only get along with each other. That's it. So it was an eye-opener for myself, just being exposed to other races, other cultures. So in my position, being hired at NAPI, I was originally hired as a marketing assistant. And once I was hired, I started to show my skill level as a designer. Right after high school, I started at the Daily Times newspaper, and I started to learn on site how to create small, tiny 1 column by 1 inch ads, black and white. And I would look to the other designers that were creating full page, full color ads for car dealerships. And I thought, wow, that is so awesome. And for me, I wanted that. I wanted to learn more about design work. And since I was a kid, I always did traditional drawings, and art was always a thing for me. And one of my big supporters and influencers was my sister. And what she would tell me was, you need to go into something that you love, something that you really want to do. So I actually thought about it, and it was difficult for me to decide what I wanted to do when I was a senior in high school. But when I did graduate, with the encouragement of my sister, I was able to figure out what I wanted to do, and that was anything to do with art. So I ended up starting off with a graphic design position and deciding to go into computer animation. Once I ended up graduating with my degree, I came home just because life happens, and I decided to start my family a lot earlier and had to get a job. So I went back into the designing field as a graphic designer for the newspaper and moved to Santa Fe, worked for a real estate company that recognized my work. And from there, again, life happened, and I ended up coming home. So once I came home, I started off as a marketing assistant. And since being here at NAPI, I showed the work that I can do as a designer and started incorporating photography, videography, and that's where I'm at right now. So in my position as a graphic designer, I think my career path kind of just snowballed based on what I wanted to do, what I liked, what I felt passionate about. And with that passion, I just kept learning from my colleagues, kept learning from other people that could make me better. And one thing I learned while being in college was that I needed to accept criticism. And that was a hard pill to swallow at first, because I thought my art was the best always, but it's not always the case. There are different perspectives. So when my instructors would tell me, you know what, maybe you should try this, maybe you should try that, that's when I was like, okay. So the first time I had that thrown at me, it was hard. It was like, what do you mean this is the best I can do? And they were like, no, keep pushing yourself. So one of the greatest things I think my colleagues can do is critique my work, or I guess anybody in general can critique my work, and I can accept that and see from their perspective, well, maybe I should have done that differently. Maybe I should have designed this a little bit softer, harder, whatever. But just kind of look at things through the other person's eyes. In my position as the public relations coordinator, I do several things during the day, and that would include updating the website, building ads, whether it's for the website or the print ads, radio scripts. I'll also take pictures across the farm. I'll do reports, presentations, tours, anything dealing with communicating with the public, and I guess building all the different materials for that communication to get across. And that's pretty much my role here at NAPI. My most favorite part of my position is actually the end product. So when I create something, a design, or if I'm wanting to do this huge project, and I complete it, and I see the end results. That's, I think, the favorite part of my position. I really enjoy seeing the end product of whether it's a package that I created or designed, and the calendars, the annual calendars that are distributed to the general public, and knowing that people want to see that and they want a copy, or they want to see more of my work, and I do get compliments here and there, and I think that's like the greatest feeling is when people appreciate my work and my designing. That's probably the most favorite thing about my position here. So certifications, or I guess training in my field, it would be ideal to learn a lot about Adobe Creative Suites. And that would include Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and if you can even push further with the Lightroom for photography, editing photos, or even if you want to do videography, there's programmer softwares out there for that. And I think all you have to do is keep training yourself. There are some artistic people that are just naturally able to see what they want, do what they want. And once they realize what tools are available through the different softwares, they're able to really shine with what they can do. And so I think if you learn those different programs available, it can really bring out the artwork that you want to create. So in 5 years, I see myself still here at NAPI. I do want a team of individuals that are also artistically inclined and can actually help me with some of the work that I have. Sometimes I feel like there's not enough of me to go around, though there's activities that are just all over the farm. Our farm is about a little over 72,000 acres, and sometimes I want pictures of the fields being cut, but then I want a video of someone promoting the pinto beans from the store, or I want someone to do an interview with a radio station. So there are areas that I wish I could be all at once, and in 5 years I hope there is a full team of us to where we can be in all these different places, and people will know that, or my team would realize, like, this is what I want, this is the direction that we're going, and we want to really look more professional and be more professional with what we're showing to the public. My next step for my career is actually completing school. So as mentioned, life happened for me, and I raised my family, and I'm at a good time to go back to school, something that I've always wanted to do, and NAPI was there to help me get to where I'm at. And luckily, NAPI was able to understand that I did want to go back to school, and they actually encouraged me to go back to school. And I remember the day that I registered at the college, and it was somewhat emotional just because it's something that I've always wanted to do, and just actually signing up for a class was exciting in itself. And what I'm actually studying now is business management, and it's been a challenge just because I work full time, and then I have my kids that I'm raising. I have a family that loves spending time together, so it is hard because I'll have homework assignments due, and my schedule is pretty tight as is, but it's something that I want to do, and it's for myself, and it's for me to do better at my job, something that I really like to do. So I think that's currently my goal in life, is just to complete school, learn as much as I can, and continue to develop in my field of work. As mentioned, right now I am in school and hoping to graduate in spring 2022 with my degree in business management, but my goal is to continue going to school, and I've actually already registered for next fall of 2022, and hoping to receive my bachelor's in marketing. So I'm excited about it, but there are moments where I get really stressed or I'm tired, but all I can think of is just get back up and keep moving forward. So that's kind of where I'm going in life, is just trying to make myself better as a person, and hoping that I can continue to design and create work that a lot of people will see just everywhere. Something that I've kind of picked up throughout my whole life is just the different challenges you are faced. And when I was a kid, I would play with my cousins, and they were pretty rough. They were all guys, and we'd play basketball, tag football, and it'd be out in the desert, and I would end up being tackled or something. And what do you do when you get tackled? You just get back up and shake it off and keep playing. And even with my grandparents, if I would fall, they would tell me, get back up. And my dad would tell me that as well. So I guess just knowing that you do have these setbacks in life, all you can do is get back up and keep trying to do better. Try to, I guess, look back on your history and see how you could have changed things and made things a lot better for yourself. So I guess that's one thing, is if somebody pushes you down, or if something, just life in life in general, if it pushes you down, just get back up. Dust your knees off and get back up and keep moving forward.